Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff.
And liftoff on another episode of Tarot Today. We are live streaming on YouTube and simulcasting, broadcasting on radio, Blog Talk Radio right now. So we are the show that's been bringing you tarot for the 13 years now or something like that. I'm Dax Carlisle. I come to you live from Tucson, Arizona. We have my fabulous co-host, Mary Brown, and guest co-host, the fabulous Pamela Steele. Oh my God.
Yay!
So much
Hey, everybody.
Hi,
Happy
everybody.
Saturday.
Happy Saturday. So if you're listening to us on Blog Talk right now and can't see us, you can come over and see us. That's right. Go over to our YouTube channel. It's Tarot Today Live. And we actually have a URL, tarottoday.live, that just takes you right to the channel. And you can just click on the live at the top of the main page there. Jump in the comments and chat with us in there during the show. You can even ask for a mini reading in there as well. And you can call into the show too. Right, Mary?
Yes, they can. The number to call is 816, right? 714-816-4628.
You got it right.
Be sure to press the number 1 on your dial pad so it raises your skinny little alien arm in the air. Because that's what it looks like on the switchboard, a skinny little alien arm.
Yeah. So Pamela's joining us today because we are going to be talking about runes and tarot and how you can use runes in your tarot practice and what runes are. I call them ruins. What runes are and
yes.
First of all, I want
crystal runes.
Yes. Oh, you got to tell us about all your decks and everything. Before we go any further, I'm going to pop into the discussion here. And I have a link, a quick link, one of those short links that'll take you right over to our handout. We have a handout that has all the runes on it. You can also find it on our Tarot Guild group on Facebook and on the website. I have it under articles on thetarotguild.com. So lots of places you can pick up the handout. And I got the link in the comments here. So even if you're watching an archive, you should be able to get that link. Awesome. How you doing, Pam?
Roughly perfect. And don't say anything. This is a way better improvement than what I could say yesterday.
Oh, your voice.
It's gone. That's okay. We'll play charades and stuff. It'll be good.
Yeah, charades. That would be fun. Or Pictionary. We could draw.
Yeah, we could do that for sure. Hi, guys. Good to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks so much for taking the time, even with your voice and everything, to talk to us about, share your knowledge of the runes. What are runes? What are runes, anyways? We're going to have to talk about what runes are, how do we use them with tarot, all of these great things. But before we get into that, we got to let everybody know what the card of the day is and the numerology. And Dax has the numerology. I'm picking a card right this moment. And what did I get? Oh. Well, I looked at the next one too. So I got 2 cards. I got the 4 of Pentacles. This is from the Mystical Tarot, put out by Los Scarabeo, distributed in North America by Llewellyn. Beautiful deck. The 4 of Pentacles. It might be a good time to just kind of take stock of your situation. I think of the 4 of Pentacles often having to do with like managing our money. You don't want to be miserly, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you've got what you need, right? So make sure that you got what you need. And then also the other card that popped out is the Sun card. Yay, we love the Sun card. That's a card of happiness and bright things. And the interesting thing about the Sun card to me, as like a message for people today, would be that there may be something that is going to become pretty obvious to you. I think about the sun card as sort of shedding light on something or seeing something in broad daylight. We have those expressions. So, it's probably not the day to try to do some secretive thing because it probably will be revealed. So that's the message. Let's see what Dax has for the numerology of the day. What do the numbers look like? Is it a good day?
It's always a good day. But what's really cool is you got that 4 card, and 4 is structure in numerology. The entire date reduces to 4. It's the 10th month, which reduces to 1. The day is the 15th. That reduces to 6. The world year number is also 6 this year, 2022. Add those together, you get 6. So it's, the energy of the day itself, the 15th, the 6 energy is reflecting the world energy, so it kind of compounds it. And so we're talking about the return to harmony and balance after the chaos of 5. Yesterday made it felt a little chaotic. It was that 5 energy. And it's also the number of like hearth and home and family and things along those lines. And because it's the structure with the 4, I'm getting the feeling today's a really good day to, do those renovations, move the furniture around, organize at home, even work in your garden, anything along those lines fits in. So that's what I got. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Pamela, can you explain to people, because I don't know if everybody, Dax and I were talking about this rune and tarot thing. And I was talking about how I think in your deck, you include runes, you said, and there's been some decks based on runes. I've got a deck of rune cards. It's like an oracle deck based on the runes. But what are they exactly? Because I don't think everybody knows.
Well, the way I learned it is that runes were gifted to Odin by the gods when he hung on the tree forever, however long. It depends on which legend you're reading. And cost him his eye, but that was okay because he was gifted the runes of power. Okay, they're also known as kind of, some people call them the Viking alphabet, but depending on which part of the world you're in, runes are not consistent. They're like some of the symbols that are drawn in the ones the Elder Futhark that I use. They'll have a different line or two in them in maybe the newer ones, but some of them, even the Iberian ones, they're all curly and squirrely. I mean, they're really pretty, but I stuck with these because these were the ones that really spoke to me. They really appeal to me. And when you look at Norse mythology and their artwork, everything is interlocking, knots and curls and beautiful art and swirls and whatnot. And you come to these and you've got very, very straight lines. And by the way, this is the one I pulled for today. And it's one of Freyr's and it's the rune for strength is what it is. Or the ox, depending on how you want to look at it. And pronunciations are kind of vary from place to place too. But it is the rune for strength. So I thought that was kind of interesting today because there is strength in this. And it took me a long, long time. I finally had to just sit down and start asking whoever was listening, why are these runes all straight lines? They're all straight lines. Everything else in the whole culture was curly curves and pretty. Why straight lines? And the answer that I got was because lines of power know no boundaries. So they're not going to have to curl around anything. They're going to go straight through it. And I found that really interesting. So that's kind of how I began interested in learning about runes. So yeah, and what?
You include them in your deck, right? Can you tell people about that and why that was important?
The Steel Wizard, and this was the deck that I started October 21st, 1999. Okay. So what I would do is, as I'm going through the different images, I was just kind of being coached as to what to put in them. And when I got to cards like the Chariot, okay, well, I added the rune for movement on the front of the horse's harnesses, and then the rune for the warrior tier on for the actual charioteer, because it just felt right in and out of a different, unique current and layer to the card itself. So even if you don't really understand runes themselves, the beauty is you see them every day. You see them all over the place, and you can't not see them. Okay, here's one. This is one that you're going to see if you're driving down the road. It's called Cano. It means opening. It's also translated into the letter K in the English alphabet. Some of them do. Actually, the sheet that Dax posted, it's got the English language letter equivalent. Okay, on that too. And one word, like these are just one word. This is going to get you started. It gives you a broad and general idea of what each of these runes mean. So when you've got that, or you can drive, and another one that you're going to see often when you're driving down the road is the arrow. It points straight ahead, like, you know, or one of these, or,
Oh, wow.
or maybe it's going to curve. This is the rune for the warrior. And so
Wow.
every once in a while, you're driving down the road and you see the sign for opening, or you see the sign for, or you're thinking, okay, what are you trying to tell me? And that really makes what we do with symbols and tarot and all of these different divination tools that we use, when you bring them all together and you start looking around you and you see it every day in every moment of your life, doesn't matter. It teaches you to one thing that really kind of eludes most of us, because we tend to live in our heads: be present, be very, very present. So that was one of the main reasons that I added them, plus the fact I love runes. And there's also, in the middle of the chariot itself is the rune for, or it's not in this set, but it's in one of the sets. It's for chaos and disruption, because without chaos you don't have change. So anyway, this is the card I was talking about. Yep, got a little
Wow.
crazy.
Well, was it easy to learn how to use them? Because I think, a lot of people think, like, where do I begin? What would you suggest? Where do we start? Should we you make your own runes, right? Is that something that you had to, like, kind of study to get to the point, or was making your own runes kind of an informative process in itself?
I started out with that cheap ceramic set, but I don't remember who published it. Ralph Bloom or Bloomberg or some, I don't remember the guy's name exactly. They were a nice enough set, but being made out of that kind of just bisque clay, they absorbed energies like nobody's business. And I think because they were mass produced, that was another reason. So I had a heck of a time keeping those clean and cleared of energies. Like with tarot, or most of the time, I can just blow on them, and it just kind of shoves everything out that doesn't belong there. But those little buggers I had trouble with. So I ended up with some, about 50 years ago, I ended up with some 150-year-old poplar from an old barn. And it was on the inside, it was in the rafters. So I brought some of this with me from when I moved from the States back here, and ended up cutting it into rune-sized pieces. And this is my set. Okay.
Wow.
And they're all color coded, because each or group of three, there's three groups, and each group has not just their colors, but there's subcolors. Like there's a medium blue, a dark blue, and a light blue. There's ones that's even white, and it's the rune for movement. But it's very specific. And when it came right down to it, and I needed a set for the work that I was doing, I made my own. And then years later, when I was working with drawing the pictures for the Steel Wizard, I went ahead and pulled these out and consulted them as I was doing the deck.
That is so cool.
Not every card has a rune, but every card has something about it that was blended in there from working with these runes. So,
Well, I was going to ask that because I think a lot of times, and I did this for a while, and then I stopped doing it. But I think a lot of times I would look at any divination set, whether it was tarot cards, whether it was oracle cards or runes or tarot dice or just dice, all of this stuff, and I would think about like how many there are. So like with runes, you get like 25, some sets are 24. Again, it depends on what system you're using, but
yeah.
I used to think like, oh, well, if I only have 25, why would I want just 25 of something when I could have 78? Why would I want just 78 when I could have 100? Why would I, does it matter that there's so few of them compared to like 78 cards?
No.
Do you think like for divination?
No, because just like tarot, you can blend these things. It's called bind runes. You can take like if I have a particular something I want to accomplish. Okay, I'll give you for instance. When I bought a place out, an acreage, oh gosh, it's been a long time ago, almost 30 years ago now, or longer. It was just a shell of a house, and I needed to do a lot of work to it. Okay. And so as I'm starting to rip out everything on the inside to get rid of the mouse nest and everything else, at one point during the day, the first day, I scratched the heck out of my hand and had it was like bleeding like a bad amputation. And I'm thinking, what am I supposed to do with this? This is ridiculous. I'm pulling my finger up, trying not to bleed all. What does it matter? I'm going to cover everything anyway. And I looked up and there was one door to the place, one. And I looked up and thought, okay. So I walked over and I stepped up on a stool, and then with my bloody fingerprint, I started drawing the rune for protection. Okay.
Wow.
And when I got that done, I moved around and then I did another one over the top of it, following the same lines as often as I could for defense. And then just to set it all in place so that nothing could deviate. And I was, as I'm doing this, I'm encompassing the whole area. And when I was all done, then I put the rune down for Isa, which is it's to freeze. It holds it in place, and it's actually the weapon of the frost giants. And that was actually how I started, and it was blending these three together that gave it a whole different. Wow, I literally had people sometimes pull it up into the driveway and then look around, back up, and drive away.
Wow.
They didn't belong there. So I've used those for that. I've used them for travel. And sometimes I will just reach into the bag and pick out the ones, for the person that I'm creating the travel charm or the whatever they're doing for.
Wow.
I don't really understand why these particular ones came up, but I'm going to trust that they're there for a reason. And then you can take and bind them all together into a single one. And you don't have to carve them on anything, like for things like that. You can just draw them on. I don't recommend blood. It's kind of messy. But
I was going to say, is blood effective? It sounds very effective, though.
It worked. It worked for me because I'm building the house. And ironically, as soon as I was done all the drawing on over the door frame, it quit bleeding, and by night it was healed up. So
wow.
Figure that one out. But you can take these, and I've done this too in readings, like especially when I first started reading with the Steel Wizard, and that was a homemade deck all those years ago. You had to use it with a clue stick because they kept falling apart, the backs kept falling off. But during the reading, sometimes right at the very beginning, I would open my bag and ask whoever I was reading for, pull one. Well, I don't know how. Yeah, you scoop them in your hand and you shake it until one of them sticks, or maybe two stick. But either way, that's the best way I've found to pick runes. You can go in and just figure out which one you want, but it's best to let them choose you. And then
Wow.
that's what we would start, because this is what we're doing with the reading. I also blended a few of those in with the Eternal Seeker.
Mm.
They've got some
And
of those
these,
cards have runes in.
oh, I have the Eternal Seeker right here. The Eternal Seeker Oracle
Upside
cards
down.
based on the tarot by Pamela Steele. Gorgeous deck, people, by the way.
And if you look at Sacred Alignment, which is my version of the Chariot card, the mist that's coming up behind his staff, you can see the runes in there. There's the warrior rune, there's the rune for movement. I forget what all I put in there, but I have to look at it. But yeah, that one's the one that comes to mind. So I have a thing about the Chariot card and runes, I guess. Yes. And where the lights trailing off of his staff at the top, that's where you'll find the runes.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oop. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that is amazing. This is such a gorgeous deck. By the way, I'm just looking at it. So for everybody listening, like what's one way they can start using runes? And really they don't even need to have the physical runes, right?
No.
They could even
No, you
write it
don't.
down on the symbols on a piece of paper, throw it in a bag and pick one that way.
You
Would that
can,
work?
they just don't last
an
very
idea.
long. You can get
Right.
some, gosh, there's so many places now that sell them. This little, this is the one I have of just the clear quartz.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been to an event where I couldn't find at least a set of runes. Somebody
Yeah.
somewhere has some.
Yeah, I got my amethyst ones from Llewellyn.
Yeah.
They look like this.
Yep. Beautiful. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, and
I
I was
love
gonna say,
amethyst.
don't forget we have the handout, and
Yes.
let me screen share and just throw that up there for people that are have absolutely no clue what we're talking about, and they want to look at them.
Yeah. There you
That's
go.
perfect.
That's what they look like.
And there's
Oh.
her one-word explanation.
Yeah, I
And
was going to
your-
ask you about that. Do you want to maybe, I don't know, talk about a couple of them and maybe how they would relate to certain tarot cards?
Okay, well, sure. The second one down on the left, and prayers out at it's a very distinct T in there. If you go down to where am I looking? Oh, Gibo partnership. Okay, you've got the Two of Cups, or you could even have the Lover's card in there. All right, so it depending on what you're looking for. All right, Earth, the Strength, the one that we just pulled for today, that's pretty self-explanatory. Your Strength card.
Yeah.
Any of these just depends. Like Thurisaz, Thorn, which is sort of like a defensive, protective thing, but it has its own meaning. In other words, it's homegrown, kind of like the rose. A rose will have thorns. All right. Whereas the difference there, like if you go into the second column, where you've got Hagals, you've also got Iwas, which is defense, and then two below that, you've got Alges, which is protection. Okay. And ironically, this is hilarious if you think about it. When you look at Alges and the protection sign, you put a circle around it, you've got the peace symbol, but it's upside down. So whenever they did that back in the 60s, they just took the protection thing, but they flipped it upside down. I guess because it looked better aesthetically. I'm not sure. But any of these symbols, like I said, I really like Isa. I really like the one that reads freeze. There again, second column, third one down. And I don't know why I have such an affinity for that. Maybe other than the fact that I live in Canada, it freezes a lot. I like it. It's crazy. But I've also taken like the different runes that spell a different name. Okay, like my son's names or my name even, and work them into bind runes for a specific, like if I'm working with, like when my son was traveling up here from California, he was moving up here, and it was really a wild time in his life, and he needed safe passage. So I took his name and worked it in with the protection and the defense and the travel and all of it together. And he left. And ironically, to make a long story short, he had an absolutely seamless, flawless trip. He drove from Los Angeles to Victoria. Not a problem. In a vehicle that had over 300,000 miles on it.
Jeez.
Yeah. He just sailed through customs. He sailed through everything. And he really was concerned. I mean, there was a lot of other stuff going on. And he was really quite concerned. And I told him, don't worry about it. We got this. And so as soon as he got across the border, he picked up his phone and he called me and he said, you got to teach me that one too, Mom. I said, okay, no problem. But it's just, I find these some of the most useful little handy little,
Wow.
and anybody can draw a straight line. All you need is a freaking ruler. Come on.
I can't draw a straight line with a ruler.
Yes, you can.
Just
Yes, you
little
can.
ones. Very
Here's the
short
beauty.
straight lines.
Here's the funny part though. Each one of these symbols, each one of them has a very distinct starting and stopping point. Some of them you draw from the top down, just draw a straight line. Other ones is the bottom up. It's it just depends on the rune. And all of that was what things that we had to put in that book that my cousin and I wrote for Orion, my son, simply because I can't remember it all. That's why we have books and notes and journals and things like that. I cannot remember it all.
Did you put out this book, or this is just a private family book? Have you thought about writing anything about runes for the rest of us?
Well,
No?
this was all the stuff that we gathered up and put in there. Much of it was from other sources, and neither one of us remember what those sources are. I mean, this is like, okay, he's 50. All right. Well, this was like about 40 years ago.
Wow.
And
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I could find it. But there are some really, really incredibly good books that you can use to get started. My very, very favorite, I don't even know if it's still in print because I had a heck of a time finding a second copy, and it's Using the Roots by D. Jason Cooper. And I love this. It uses a different, I mean, the pictures on the front are the same as the ones that I'm using, but when you go in, you kind of have to, because he's working with the newer Futhar. You're not the elder, okay? And,
right.
But he also, like, whenever you come to Rado, which is Journey, but he calls it Rad, okay, which is fine. But he not only gives suggestions for the meaning of the rune right side up, but reversed and face down. I mean, he really, really followed his stuff in here, really did, did a really great job. And this, I literally, this is my second copy because I wore the first one out completely, totally.
Yeah.
I do highly recommend that one way more than the one that you're going to get with the set of runes. Another one, and this one I've had for quite a while, and I probably used it in the thing too, and it's Northern Magic, and this one's by Eldred Thorson. Rune Mysteries and Shamanism. Okay, and really that's how we got into runes. Both of us, all of us, was through shamanism. I mean, because we're not religious per se. I mean, if people are, that's awesome, but it's about that connection between this particular dimension and the other vibratory dimensions where they all coexist simultaneously. And it's great if you can tap into them and get information from, which is the whole purpose in oracles. But that's something you mentioned too, was there's only 26, well, 25 if you don't count the blank rune, because originally they did not have a blank rune. I like the blank rune.
I was going to ask about the blank rune.
Yeah,
Because not
It
all sets
wasn't-
include that. How do you
It wasn't
use that?
how do you use it?
Mhm.
Okay, the way it was presented to me was there's the rune of um, the blank rune, the all all encompassing. It's the future is yours to decide. It's you choose. It's free will. Okay,
Mm.
for lack of a better explanation. And when I was doing the Steel Wizard, I absolutely definitely needed a blank, the equivalent of a blank rune. And that's where the I am card came in. And it's pretty
Oh,
colorful. It kind of looks like a cosmic chicken, but hey, that was the first attempt at it. And yeah, that's what it is. It's that point where um, you're completely present,
yeah.
and that is something that so many people have gotten away from. They're wrapped up in what's going on around it and what's going to happen and what just happened instead of what is. And right here, right now, this is it. There's no
Yeah.
guarantees about anything or anywhere else. So I mean,
No,
that's
it's true. See, and I was wondering if the blank rune would be maybe associated with the Fool card since it's card 0.
exactly very, very. That was another theory on it. I think it's pretty well. It's kind of like how do that. Okay, you said there's only 25, 26. How often do you get? I've seen most Oracle decks have a whether a prime number, 33, 44, something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and even other ones I've seen that they're majors only, which they technically classifies them as an Oracle deck. Okay, so
Yeah.
you got 22 cards there. So what the difference is the way that they're used, the way that you approach them. It's the way that I mean, I have stopped in the middle of absolutely nowhere, gotten out of my vehicle or off my horse, and drawn a rune in the dirt just to make sure that whatever I'm feeling can't get you. You know,
Yeah.
it's
I
weird, but
wanted to
it's good.
show you. I wanted to show you because I have this, the set of rune cards that it was put out in the 90s by Vonix, but this is the Isa card. Since you like the frozen.
I love
That is
it.
so frozen.
I love
Isn't
it.
And it's like I do like deck. The thing I like about a rune deck, as an Oracle deck, this one in particular, I like because what they did was they tried to, well, like just like the Isa card I showed you, they tried to illustrate the meaning of
Yes.
the rune, and that to me was kind of helpful. Now, they they went a little bit crazy on some of them. I think I can show you this one. You can guess which card this is. I am just going to cover the scandalous portions if I can, but you can
Oh my.
I mean,
Yeah, that's Kibo. That's partnership.
yeah, they took it quite literally.
Yeah, no
Like,
kidding.
I remember like looking through the cards and like, oh, this is interesting. Like, oh my gosh, my deck is pornographic.
Harry, what's the back look like again?
Oh, it's not very exciting. I'm sorry, Bonix, if you're
Oh, I
listening,
like
but
that.
I like that
it,
though. Yeah.
but I don't know. I kind of
Well, you're
wish
an
there was-
artist. You're picky.
well, Pamela's an artist, a real artist, and she likes it. It's probably good.
By the way,
I'm
Jason
picky.
said that in the comments. Jason said when you were talking about, I don't know if I could draw the runes, and Jason's like, "Oh, please, you're an artist, Mary. You know it."
Abstract, okay? Abstract.
mhm.
That's actually what runes are. They're abstract representations of things like that are all around us. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
what it is.
that's a good
Like
way to look at it.
Jera, the harvest. I mean, if you look at
Oh,
it,
yeah, I like that.
yeah, think about
Oh,
it.
I wanted to mention also from the chat real quick, the fabulous Bonnie Chevet is in there, and she said,
Hey,
"Runes are."
Bonnie.
Hi, Bonnie. She said,
Hi,
"Runes are
Bonnie.
beautiful and deep. Runes are beautiful and deep."
Thank you, Bonnie. Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Pamela, when you talk about, you're talking about these different ways that you're, drawing a rune, using it for protection to help your son, all of these things, like, can anybody do that? Do we have to have some, degree in magic or something to be effective with runes in the ways that you were talking about that sounds so useful?
Absolutely not. No. It's focus
Is
and
it just
intent.
intention?
And focus and intent. As long as your focus is laser and your intent is pure, you can't miss. It's like working with the quantum essence. Okay, that's what divination is. You're tapping into the quantum essence of the universe. And I know this is getting a little off topic, but when you do that and you state your intent and hold that thought, it feels that it is build it and he will come kind of thing. You make that, you put that out there where there is no deviation from this. This is the way I choose. These are lines of power that I have drawn. It's going to get you from here to there with no interruptions. You are protected. Just pedal to the metal and drive, or whatever your intention is.
Right.
And I mean, not pedal to the metal. I mean, he couldn't take it over 55 miles an hour, it'd blow up. But still, when you're looking at anything we do, when we sit down to do a tarot reading, that person sitting across from you or that's on the screen with you or whatever, however that on the other end of the phone line is the most important person in your universe at that moment. It doesn't matter what else is going on. It doesn't matter who else is out there. Right then, that person is it. Your only concern, your only goal is to provide them with enough parts of their story that they can take that and run with it and do better, do more, become more whole, reclaim the lost parts of their soul, as it were. Because, you walk into a room and you look around and you say, okay, everybody stop thinking you have a soul, because you don't. Nobody in here has a soul. And they all kind of look at you like you're on crack. Because the truth is, you are a soul. You are having a human experience, but you are that divine spark. And as that divine spark, you can go into any one of these divination tools and use it to create what you are here to experience.
I love that. That's a wonderful way to put it. And I think that you're right, that's true with tarot and everything else. It's so important to like be present, to be focused, to have the right intention, and to really connect. Because a lot of times, people talk about either I have to have this certain situation in order to connect with someone, and I think that I think that we kid ourselves sometimes. We kind of will build this up, in a way of like, okay, if I don't have the right flavor of incense burning in the certain corner of the room, this isn't going to work, but it's like we've decided that that's the case, So I love.
Exactly. But Mary, think about it this way too. It's like, okay, when you say something to somebody and you say, well, what's going on? And they turn to you and they say, well, I just want to be happy. So, okay, stop right there. Stop. Because when you say, I want, you've just told the genie in the bottle, which is the universe, the quantum essence, that you want to be happy. So your wish is granted, and you're granted the exquisite experience of wanting to be happy. But if you take all the conditions off, I'll be happy when my house is paid for. I'll be happy when I get a new car. I'll be happy when I meet my soulmate. I'll be happy when bullshit. I didn't say that. Just be happy.
You can say it.
Just be happy. And the rest will come. The rest will fall into place. When you have that, the rest, it's going to fall into place. It's just going to be there. Focus, intent.
Number one things, regardless of what we do. What do you think? Where is Dax? What happened to Dax?
Right there, he's just lying low in the
I'm
bushes.
here. I'm just listening to the fabulous conversation. Plus, I'm a little distracted by Bonnie and Jason going off about bears and in the chat. They're talking about bears. Yeah, because Pamela has her mama bear shirt on.
Oh, Mama Bear. This one
And
my kids
Jason
got
was
it
like,
for me.
have you ever been in a bear attack? I know this is off topic, he said.
A little bit. That's awesome, though.
And
You know
Bonnie's like,
what?
well, don't put yourself into that position where you might be attacked by the bear.
I have a funny thing. It's like we had friends that had a great cabin up in the Spanish Peaks in Colorado that we used to go to, for a little mini vacation for a weekend or whatever. And, it's bear country, like real, like they live there, like these little cabins are like in their forest. And I always get confused because I know there's the black bears and then there's the brown bears. And one of them you're supposed to play dead. And the other one you're supposed to fight, And I keep thinking like, I really need to write this down.
Make yourself
Which
big.
one? Yeah, which one am I supposed to like get in a real
It's so
fist fight
funny,
with?
Mary, because that's exactly what Bonnie and Jason were talking about in the chat.
Oh my gosh.
It's like,
Yeah,
do you make
one of
yourself
them-
small and lay down, or do you do big?
It depends on the bear.
It
or the
depends
kind of
on the
bear.
bear. Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. So I also want to mention we've got some callers coming in on the queue there, 714-816-4628 if you want to call in and chat with us. We'll take some calls shortly. If you want to leave some comments besides bears in the comment section, we'll read them on air. If you have a question, you could put in a specific question. We could pull a card or two. If you just want us to pull a card for you, happy to do that. Or how about pulling runes or rune cards? Because you guys have the rune cards.
Could you pull a room for callers? Do you think that would work? Does it work like that too?
For callers?
Yeah, I'm curious about that. Does that work?
I never thought about it. Can try it.
Yeah.
Callers.
See what
But
happens.
real quickly, also, before I forget, because I know I will, want to mention on the Psychic Talk Radio Network, Angelic View is tomorrow. So you can also call in on tomorrow's show. That will be radio only on Blog Talk Radio. Mary and I'll be back on Monday. In fact, we're on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays now. On Monday, the 17th, we're talking about what's your life path? So how to calculate your life path in numerology, and we'll be talking all about that. And then on Thursday, we're talking about what's your personal year number, how to calculate where you are in the 9-year cycle. Really cool stuff. And of course, we'll be taking your calls and chatting with you in the chat on the YouTube Live. Okay. What else? Should mention our tag team readings real quickly. You can always book a tag team reading with Mary and I. Tagteam.tarottoday.live. That's right. And if you want to, go over to our tip jar, it's coffee.tarottoday.live. If you want to buy us a coffee, we love the coffee. I've been drinking the coffee through the whole show. So, there's all the announcements for today. And let me check the chat here, see if any questions are coming up. I think Eileen's she's putting one in there in the chat, but I think she's on the phone lines. Let's see if we can find Eileen real quick here. Eileen, is that you? Area code 305?
Yes, I am back.
Hi, Eileen.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi.
Thank you so much. I've been following you guys for years.
Woo.
It's very nice
Aw,
to finally
thank
see you all.
you.
Mary, you got some head of hair. It's fabulous.
Oh, thank
Fabulous.
you.
I love it.
So I was approached by this corporation to sell my artwork on their website back in June, and then we talked a little bit, but then they just sent me another email, and then she got over a discussion with somebody else, so we didn't do it, so I just signed up for another time slot, which is Monday, and I put it all in alignment with my planets and my chart, and I'm wondering, will she move in my direction where I want to put my name on her website, because I've been doing my work for over 50 years.
Yeah, and I've seen your work. I follow you too online, Eileen.
Thank you. Thank
You have such beautiful,
Thank you.
beautiful work that you do there. It's just gorgeous. But just drawing,
Thank
you know,
you.
a few tarot cards on this to see. The first thing that comes up is that this is really interesting. So the Three of Pentacles comes up in the present energy. So, you know, working on, you know, thinking of working together with this person. Sun card above it looks really great for this. And in the outcome position, I get the Chariot card, which, you know, and let me tell you, I do think that it is going to work out for you. I think this is good. The High Priestess comes up too. So, you know, also always, you know, listen to your intuition. But what really seals the deal for me is looking at the Past card. And the Past card is a 10 of Swords. So it's saying like, okay, the thing that when you tried to do a similar thing before, it didn't really like happen. You know, that's over. We're in this new energy where, hey, this can be a working partnership. So I feel pretty good about it. Pamela, did you have anything for Eileen? Did you pull a rune or anything?
First of all, hello, Eileen. I don't think I'm familiar with your work, but I would like
Pamela.
to be.
I'll send you the link.
Thank you.
Please do. Okay, because the first thing the first rune was the one for joy. Okay, so in other words, when you work, you're not just doing something because you think it'll sell. You're doing it from the heart. You've put a lot of yourself, a lot of your own personal joy into your work. Okay, and that's what makes it so appealing. That's why people find it so attractive. Now, regarding this current situation, we're looking at defense. So a good defense is the best offense, right? Now, when you are working with this website, and you're asked to put your work up, do they download directly from there, or however it works? You need to protect yourself. And I mean, I've been running the Tarot Deck Creators Group for, oh God, what, 10, 11 years now. And I tell everybody the same thing. Do not ever post anything anywhere, I don't care who it is, unless it's watermarked. Because people are thieves. And I don't know where these pirates all come from, because they don't always wear an eye patch with a parrot on their shoulders, because some of them just look like normal people, and they will steal anything that's not nailed down. So if you do plan to sell on the website, it should be set up in a way where people can choose their size, however they're going to do it. But then they're provided with a special one-time only link to download the work. Do you see what I mean? Something like that, because your work is copyrighted, period. So once you finish it, it's done. It's copyrighted. But you want to make sure that it stays protected, okay? And honestly, it's just, let's see, but the thing of it is, the last card that I drew for you is one for wealth. So yeah, this would be a very profitable thing, but basically what they're saying is cover your butt, okay? Don't get too excited. And if there is a contract involved, please get someone knowledgeable in contract law to read it for you, please, because that's how a couple of guys I know, they worked very hard on a project for well over 2 years. They got it done. And I told them, please do not sign anything until you talk to, some people about what you're signing. And they ended up selling all rights to that project for $5,000 for 2 people. And insane. I was just sick when I heard about it.
5,000 is insane.
Oh, wow.
Right.
I just wanted to cry.
I've been working in that industry for a really long time, and I used to watermark, but that became crazy. But I have a lot of angels and archangels working around me, and God protects me all the time. And He also gave me the intelligence to know, no, I'm not going to do this. You have to have my name there, or I will limit the quantities of images that they will be able to sell. Like maybe I'd start with 3.
Good.
Like that.
That's awesome.
So, because I'm self-created, You know, like
Yeah.
I'm self-published since 1972, and I have never deviated from the truth. So, and I never did my art for money. I always did it because it made me happy with God. You know, and that's why
Yeah.
He's put me all over the planet,
Yeah.
and why I do
That, that
quality.
that light shines through in the work that you do. And yet, Pamela, I'll send you a link to Eileen's page. It's gorgeous, gorgeous stuff.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank
calling
you.
in.
All right, you
Thanks
guys.
for
You
calling.
gave me some wonderful, powerful, positive, let's say, affirmation. Okay.
Awesome.
I'll keep listening.
Excellent.
Thank you. Bye.
Great.
Thank
Bye.
Bye-bye. So looking back in the chat, we got a question from, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, Vidhi. I'm just going to say Vidhi. Anyway,
Yeah.
she's asking about, will she be successful in her fashion career moving forward? Going to complete my college mid next year. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And maybe you could pull a card and or a rune for Vidhi and see fashion career. Is it going to be successful?
Ooh.
That's a cool one.
Yeah, it'd be great. I wish Sharona was here today. She's been in the fashion industry. She could probably give some great advice.
Corona when you need her, right?
Okay, so, but you know, is this going to be a successful career path in fashion for you? Okay. First thing that comes up is the Three of Wands. You know, obviously, you know, it's going to take a little bit of time, but we have the Wheel of Fortune, and the outcome is a competitive field. You know, the Hermit card is really the advice card on this, right? So I feel like you could be successful in this, but you've really got to choose the direction that really speaks to you the most. That's the kind of a seahorse or sea dragon kind of horse that the Knight of Cups is riding on here. The Knight of Cups, follow your heart. Think about it. You know, right now is a good time to kind of plan out what this journey is going to be for you. Get the Five of Wands. So, you know, it's a competitive field, but you can handle the competition. And, you know, Ace of Pentacles, look for those opportunities that are really going to make money, but as well match up with what's in your heart. You just listen to Eileen talk. Eileen, incredible artist. Her work is everywhere. She would get nowhere if she hadn't followed her heart, if you listen to her. So that's something you need to think about. Fashion is a creative industry, but that's what I get. Let's see what Pamela has, or Dax seems to have something.
Before Pamela, real quick, first of all, we can call her VJ. I love that. It makes it so much easier. Let's see. Jason said Sharona is in the group, and she piped up. Sharona's there. So yeah, VJ, you got to talk to Sharona. I mean, she's like fashion industry, New York City, America. Anyway, just
it all
that out there. Yeah, Pam, did you pull a rune for VJ?
I did. Excuse me. The first one I got was movement. Okay, movement in the affairs. Okay, so what it comes down to is you're being guided, and you will be going to where you need to be. It's not the be all end all. Okay, this is going to be a place where you can define and hone your skills. All right, because this is going to lead to wisdom, and it's the wisdom to know where you do and do not belong that's going to be majorly important for the next, give me a number, 3 months after you start this. So for the first 3 months of this fashion industry journey, pay really close attention and gain what wisdom and knowledge that you can, because you're going to see some really interesting things that you didn't consider before. It's going to really, really give you the depth that you need to continue and do this well and be successful. Okay.
Thanks for the question.
That was awesome.
Good luck.
Absolutely. Awesome stuff. And what was I going to say? Because I always forget. I'll mention, I did put it up earlier, but I'll mention go ahead and subscribe to the channel and like the video. Hit that bell after you subscribe.
Yeah, that helps.
A lot of people in our comments are telling us how much they love these shows. I mean, I've heard it from at least 4 different people in there. Pretty nifty stuff. Let me take a closer.
Thank you. That's wonderful.
Let me take a closer look here. There was another one. Oh, Nancy. Nancy wanted to know, do you see me moving out of state to be closer to my daughter in the future?
Moving out of state to be closer to your daughter in the future. I guess your daughter's out of state then. And look, when I look at a question like that for the future, I'm only looking within the next 6 months. Okay. Because I don't know, anything could happen. Nothing's set in stone. But look, if you work towards it, you can accomplish it. The first thing that comes up is the Eight of Pentacles. So really it's like, keep up with the plan and make the decision firmly. And I get the Sun card after the Judgment card. So once you really, where's the Judgment? This one's the Judgment card. And to me, this is representing that decision and really having okay, we firmly decided we're making it happen. That Eight of Pentacles, and the Sun card comes up. So yeah, I think that this can happen. I just think it takes some work to make it happen, like any major move does. But what about Pamela? What about Dax? What about other people and what they think?
Well, I got, excuse me, here we go again. The first one I got is Perth, okay? And a lot of times this is likened to a dice cup, all right? And entering into an unknown area, but it came up in the positive upright position. And the second one, which is for heritage and family and stuff like that, this one also came up in the upright position. So I can see that you're going to be provided an opening to go. Look carefully at the energy surrounding the situation and plan your trips accordingly. Okay. In other words, don't just rush into something. Look closely. And when the time is right, you'll get the green light and then it'll be a go ahead.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks for the question.
I think we might have time for maybe one more call.
Okay.
Who's waiting the longest on the phone lines? It looks like area code 541. Are you there, caller?
Yes, you just did my reading, by the way.
Oh, we did it already. Good to talk with you, though.
Yeah, you just did it. I thank you so much. Yeah.
What was your name?
Oh, I'm Nancy.
Nancy. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
Hi, Nancy. And thanks for calling in and also for being on YouTube too with us. And did those answers make sense to you?
Yeah, they did. I do have to I have a lot of things that I have to do before that even happens, for sure. It's just that I'm living here alone in Oregon, and my daughter and the family moved to Oklahoma in the last month, and I'm kind of here all alone and not finding any friends or people that I can identify with. So I was just curious in the future because they want me out there, but I know it can't happen for a while.
I got tons of family in Oklahoma if you need connections.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Where in Oklahoma are we talking? Like what part?
Pretty close to Oklahoma City.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Thanks for calling in too.
Yeah. I think you're going to do well. You'll find people.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend too. We'll see if we can squeeze in, let's see, 604. Caller, are you there? 604. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I am. Thank you. Thank you so much. My name is Charlene, and I am calling from British Columbia in Canada.
Nice.
Ooh,
British Columbia.
Canada,
That
the land
far
of Pamela
off
Steele.
land. Pinata.
Neighbors.
Oh, there were 3 of you chattering at once. I missed it all.
Sorry.
Oh, Pamela has a Canadian connection, and Dax and I think of Canada as Kenyatta, that exotic faraway land. What did you want to talk about?
Okay. Oh, there's so many things going on. I think probably the wisest thing for me to ask on is going to be my career. I just had my mother just passed, and there's a little bit of family dissension. I guess career. And I heard you say you only go as far as 6 months, but just getting a sense. And I haven't seen it done on a platform this way, where you're using YouTube, the Zoom, and the Blog Talk, which is brilliant. That may be something I should consider.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so you want to know, like, just what it looks like with career coming up for you, or you're looking for any changes to make?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess, and if there's any large messages that are jumping out, I'm all ears.
Okay. Well, let me just see what comes up in the cards here. Wow, front and center. Wow. Do you do anything with the public, or anything that the public would see? Hey, have you thought about
Not
that?
enough
Like
yet.
doing a show?
I have, but I haven't figured out a way to earn money doing it. I work as an intuitive. I do healings. I am an activator. I don't know if you'd classify me as a teacher. I would consider myself a master in the making, if not already kind of currently so. Just amping it up.
Wow, the cards I'm getting are fabulous, actually. Magician card comes up. So you have all the tools you need. You've got the skills in place. Wheel of Fortune. So we've got some changes coming up that come in the form of an opportunity. So look, that Ace of Wands, to me, that represents like, okay, having that inspiration, that spark of inspiration, and running with it. I'm running right into the Six of Wands. That's why I'm asking, like, are you doing something publicly, or have you thought about it? Because you could get some really good attention for that and people appreciating it. Really think about that when you have something that just like lightning strike kind of idea, put it into action.
Okay.
Put it into action, because you could do really well with this. And, it's funny. I don't, for whatever reason, the Queen of Swords comes up here. And I feel like that's representing you. So, with sometimes, even though, you're an intuitive, sometimes our intellect will talk us out of those sparks of inspiration that we get. We'll be like, wow, that's a great idea, but I don't know, so don't do that. Don't overthink it when it happens. But let's see what Pamela is getting, if she got a rune for you.
I got 3, and they're read from left or right to left. So what it's telling you is that form a really strong partnership with yourself, with all aspects of yourself, with your intuition and your intellect and your emotion, all of it. Form a really strong, unbreakable bond with that, so that you're functioning as a total being. Because the center rune here is the one for need. There is a need for what you provide, a strong need for it. But you have to have that partnership firmly in place in order for the need to begin to manifest. Okay? And in doing this, this presents with Rado, which is journey. That's when your journey really begins, is once that you've identified where your partnership with yourself is being put second. Okay? Your partnership with you needs to be first and foremost at all times. And then the need will you're defining your need. Okay? And once that need is defined, then you'll be able to run with it. Okay?
Awesome. Thanks so much for the call.
Yeah, thank you guys. It was fun to listen to you. And you get work spins off from this for you three. Is that true?
Pardon me? I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Oh, so by you're doing the work you're doing here on Blog Talk and the YouTube, do you get work out of this? Like, do you get clients that come to you and find you for receiving remuneration?
50-50.
Yeah. I would say so. Can you guys hear me, by the way?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. So,
Okay.
and is it
Yeah,
enough that can sustain you, or is it just okay?
My Zoom is freezing up. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole idea.
Oh, okay.
You're putting yourself
Right.
out there, simulcasting on Blog Talk and on YouTube. Now we're doing as well. I think it's a good
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
to try.
Yeah, love it. As I know, it's everybody needs money. I don't believe in setting a set pace for somebody on one thing, because some people, they can't afford it, or whatever, and then there's some who have lots. So, but the purpose is to be able to help. However,
Well, that's
that
why
works,
we
but
do the
also
free
be fair to
readings.
yourself.
Offer the free readings, and then for those that can't afford it, and then if they want a longer session, they can book sessions with us too. Well, thanks for the call, Charlene.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks, you guys.
appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Have a great weekend. And my camera is froze, Mary. Again, the Zoom problem that we're having, but I think it's my computer. But at least I got the microphone working again. Hey, real quick, I wanted to before we go off the air, I did notice that Kay is in the chat, and she's also called in. But she put her question in the comments too. She has a quick question. Maybe you guys can pull a card on. I really love this, how everybody today has been called into the show on Blog Talk, but they're actually seeing us on YouTube as well. This is really
So
fantastic.
fun.
I'm having too much fun here. We have to have you back, Pam, because it's just fun having you with us.
This is exciting.
So Kay says she's had the best interview of her life on Thursday. And do you guys see me hearing back on this offer, or on an offer for that position?
Okay. Oh, that's great. The best interview of your life.
Yeah.
That's got to be a good feeling. And I get the strength card that comes up here. So that looks good. The sun card comes up. I feel like the strength and the sun card are a pretty good combination for something good happening with this. What do you get, Pamela?
Was your interview with the male person? Was it with a man?
Let's see if she answers. Was it with a man, Kay? Can you hear us? She's in the comments. Yes, it was with a guy. Yes, it was
a really strong male energy with this, and a very strong male energy that has no reverse. So yes, and plus the fact you need to do a follow-up on this, because if you don't, the flow will be broken. So no matter how great the interview was, if you're going to succeed and you're going to have victory, you need to go back, like check back in a couple of days and say, hey, I'm just checking up with you. Did I answer all your questions? Did you have anything else you thought of that you needed to know from me? Just I'm here kind of thing. Remind them that you're here. Okay. Keep reminding them. Stay in front of it. In other words. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for the question, Kay.
Thanks for the question. Yes. I think I finally figured out what's going on with this camera feed. It's the OBS that's messing up. Oh gosh. Anyway, technical difficulties, but I got it working the regular can. Anyway, fun show. A lot of great information. I love all the people that showed up, Jason and Bonnie and Sharona and Eileen and Kay and everybody, VJ and everybody that's been in there. Wow.
Charlene.
Yes, Charlene. Fun show. Thanks for being here, Pam.
Yes,
Anytime.
this was great.
Yep. And if we didn't get to your question today, either in the comments or we didn't get to your phone call, we apologize, but we're actually way over already. So we need to get out of here, but we're going to be back on Monday and Thursday and next Saturday. And don't forget, you can call in also on Blog Talk Radio. Write the phone number down, 714-816-4628. It's good for all of our shows all week. And Angelic View is tomorrow with Maria Moss. And Mary and I'll be back on Monday taking your calls. Bye, everybody. And bye,
Bye,
Mary.
Pam. Bye,
Pam.
Jess. Bye,
Good night,
everybody.
Mary Ellen.
Good night, John Boy.
Okay.